Welcome to the Impact Lounge. Feel the sound. Legends in the ring making moves all around. We got the fire, the heart, the stories untold. This is our moment. Watch the magic unfold. Welcome to the Impact Lounge, where we reign. Kings and queens of the ring breaking chains. We taking wrestling to a whole new height. Under bright lights, we ignite the fight. Genesis to rebellion. The crowd still chanting.
Yeah, what's going on, jobbers and jobbettes? It is your boy, BQ. It's the Negative BQ YouTube channel. Welcome to your Impact Lounge Impact Wrestling Review. TNA Impact Wrestling Review for July 3rd, 2025. Overall, I thought this episode was a little bit better than the last couple, but not by a whole lot, but I thought it was a little bit better. The chain match to me really stood out, and they advanced a few things storyline wise, even if it was not the most creative thing in the world. At least some things advanced, and overall pretty solid show. I got to get this out of the way though, folks. I don't know if it was just me watching on TNA Plus. I don't know how a lot of you guys watch it. Some of you have Access TV. Some of you think they stream on YouTube again. I don't know how you guys watch the show, okay? But I know me watching on TNA Plus, the microphone sounded bad, the commentary was low, which is great for me. I don't really listen to them anyway, but anytime I turned the volume up, the commentary was extremely low. You couldn't hear it over the music. A lot of the time, Mackenzie Mitchell's ring announcing I couldn't hear very well. And then I thought visually, they went back to some old habits. I saw a couple clips posted on Twitter, and I'm kind of seeing the yellow filter again. I'm watching the show, and they're messing with the color levels and the contrast again. The lighting in the ring was very good still. They weren't wrestling in the dark like they freaking did for years. But messing with the contrast, and if you're listening to me for the first time, what I'm talking about, the easiest way to notice that they're messing with these levels is that, let's just say you take the referee, they wear mostly black. A lot of these wrestlers wear black, but we'll just say, sake of argument, the referee, they got on black pants, black stripes. If they stand against a black background, whether it's the crowd, which was kind of dark this episode, but whether it's the crowd, whether it's the padding around the railing that's black, if they blend into it, like if the black, the two, I don't know if you can say you have shades of black, but there's different gradients of black. If I'm wearing this shirt next to someone who has like a faded black shirt because they wash it every single day, it's not the same black, right? But if you put them together and they're the same black, that means you're messing with color levels that's unnecessary. Messing with contrast levels, and what that does, and pay attention to this. Say you just put a referee against a black backdrop, they now look like they're a head floating in air, and you lose all outline of their body. It's just white stripes, arms, and a head floating in air. Or you don't understand what I'm saying? So it probably doesn't bother 99% of you, but it's still amateur. It's still amateur hour. And that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it if you're trying to get maximum eyeballs on the show to take steps backwards. You understand what I'm saying? But whatever. Right when I thought I was done talking about video and audio issues, here we are. So let's get into this episode of TNA Impact.
TNA Impact! Oh!
All right, so this actually kicks off with Indy Hartwell coming to the ring.
How long did it take you to learn English once you got here?
It was really easy because we speak English in Australia, you fucking idiot.
Because she is going to be on commentary for the following match. Your ring announcer is, of course, Mackenzie Mitchell.
Ding bong, ding dong, he's Stone Cold Aye!
And the match that we had at hand featured The Inspiration.
I am iconic!
And their opponents were Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, I don't like this. That if the Nuggets don't win this.
And Victoria Crawford.
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
I decided she needed that soundbite. I pulled that from Maggie Lee from M by Elegance, so I got to find something else for her. I kind of have an idea, but can't have Alicia Fox in the show and not use the Alicia Fox soundbite for her. I mean, come on. As much as I like using the Angel Reese soundbite for her, because they're both very reckless at what they do at times. I thought it was a good one, but got to go with this one for Victoria Crawford. So this was a Knockouts tag team match. I've done a couple uploads recently talking about the Knockouts, my Positive BQ show and my Knockouts roster review, and I truly believe that this is the best Knockouts division they've ever had. And I know I sound crazy on the surface because you're saying, well, they had Mickie James and they had Gail Kim and they had Awesome Kong. Yeah, a lot of those women obviously were on the roster at some point, but I do think some of the women that we place into legendary status in TNA are a little overrated. From a character standpoint, they were, larger than life in relation to, WWE. In the TNA world, they're larger than life, beautiful people. Taryn Terrell, some of these people, some of these girls, some of these knockouts. But I think just as far as the actual in-ring quality and just the depth of the roster, I think this is the best position they've ever been in. And I'm here to tell you guys right now, what I had said on my last couple shows, I keep saying, they're going to get rid of some of these girls. This is way too big of a roster. I have no confirmation they're getting rid of anybody. As a matter of fact, I have confirmation they're going to add to this division. So expect a couple more knockouts. I don't know when. Could be Bound for Glory, could be Slammiversary, could be on the TV show. I have no idea, but I know that they are trying to bring in more girls. And overall, they're trying to fix the Knockouts tag team division. That is the focus right now on the show. And I hope that the male tag team division is not too far off, but that is the focus right now regarding the Knockouts. Is the Knockouts tag team division, which is great, We're seeing two teams here, and neither is the champion. Usually you see a Knockouts tag team, and one of them's the champion, So very good stuff. I thought overall the match was pretty solid. You kind of knew where it was going. They did this multiple times on the show, put someone on commentary, and that leads to accidentally bumping into them and creating a match and all that stuff. So Indy Hartwell, as I said, on commentary, Victoria Crawford gets pinned. You can see Stevie Wonder could see that through a brick wall that's what was going to happen. But anyway, she gets the pin. It ends up setting up Tessa Blanchard and Indy Hartwell on the outside because they bump into each other and they start yelling, and Indy Hartwell wants her a Slammiversary. And I'm going to continue to give them props for Indy Hartwell because they took what was a goofy character in WWE. I saw some of that NXT stuff she was doing, married to Sam Shaw, whatever his WWE name is, doing just some goofy shit, and they've really transformed her character. And that's what I'm saying. I don't mind if they pull people from the WWE world. If you give them a chance to come over and recreate themselves, rebrand themselves, and show the world what others were missing out on. When you come in and, for instance, when you bring in Dango at one point and he's the same dancing fool and some of these guys, and at least now he's rebranded to JDC, but you know what I mean? He came in Dirty Dango. It's a playoff Fandango. They're bringing in Khan and all these guys just, trying to squeeze whatever juice they can from that, WWE lemon. I don't know. But bringing Indy Hartwell over and kind of just letting her grow into her own. I like to see more of that than, some of the other things that I spoke of in the past. So we're going to get Tessa Blanchard and Indy Hartwell at Slammiversary. And, of course, the Inspiration gets the win so that they can look strong in their tag team match coming up against the Elegance brand. And as I said, they cannot help themselves. I mean, these girls walk right into the title picture just like they did last time. I'll give some props as well. They showed clips from the fake fight with Elegance brand. I say the fake fight. They did a pretty good job with it. It didn't look overly scripted. It looked like they were really trying to brawl. But I got to give them props because I've killed their Twitter game for so long, and when they put out the tweet saying, hey, we're aware of the altercation that took place, if any fans have footage, like that's social media engagement. That's good stuff. That gets people talking without having to, rely on your in-ring product all the time. That's what I've been asking for the longest time. Social media, get people, talking, looking into things. Because now, I mean, that even shit, I came across that, was like, whoa, what happened? And it gets me Googling and going on YouTube and trying to figure out what happened. So, that was really good that they did that. That shows a change in mentality when it comes to their marketing. So excellent work, TNA. And also I got to give Tessa Blanchard props. At one point during this match, they tried to do the angle where I think she had Jessica McKay. She was holding her. It's the spot where they're trying to reach over and tag their partner, but the heel was holding them, holding them in the air, preventing them from making a tag. And they kind of botched it. They fell. They dropped like a sack of shit. And instead of what AEW would do, and WWE too, where they're like, hey, let's redo the spot, and it looks super unnatural. Like Tessa's such a pro that they kind of just went to plan B and then worked back over to it in a very natural way, rather than her finding some excuse to just pick her up immediately and do the same exact spot again. You know what I mean? And I think that is one of the knocks on pro wrestling in general from the old school side of things, is when they mess something up and they botch it and then they just go right back to it, and it's just super obvious and fake. You know what I mean? But Tessa, nothing fake about Tessa Blanchard. So she is a pro, top to bottom. After this, we had members of the Order 4. We had Tasha Steelz.
Got a badass over here.
She came down to the ring with the great hand jobs.
Hey, for another 60, I'll jerk you off in the parking garage.
And this was new territory for Tasha Steelz to come into the ring almost as a babyface. They haven't really established them as baby faces, but kind of a tweener. I don't even want to say they're a tweener. They're just undefined at the moment. But this is new territory for her, coming to the ring, and she's just talking normal. She's not talking about the flavor. She's not talking about ochre. This is something very different from her, and she just wants the Order 4 to get back to how they used to be, which is odd because they're not. It's not a breakup angle yet. It isn't them, even though he's put his hands on her. It's not like they're trying to leave the Order 4. It's almost like they're trying to fix it. So she calls out. She wants to call out Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali, and she does call them out. And of course, they come out 2 seconds after she asks for them. So first we had Cedric Alexander.
My name is Optimus Prime.
And then after that was Mustafa Ali.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
They're going to have a match at Slammiversary. That's what they're building towards here. That's the little, I don't even want to call it a promo battle, because Cedric Alexander said he's actually trying to help Ali. I thought he did a good job there. Cedric Alexander is very good, top to bottom. Mustafa Ali said, I don't want your goddamn help. I thought that was... man, it sucks that the audio was such an issue for this episode, because it sounded like the crowd was completely dead. When when Tasha said, I had to call Cedric Alexander and she gave the pause, it was like you heard no pop. And just throughout the show, it sounds like you couldn't hear them. And I think they were in Pittsburgh, which is typically a decent market for them. But it's just, I don't know what it was. They really took some step backs from the production side of things with this episode, and it's pretty disappointing to see, to be honest with you. But Ali comes out, I don't want your goddamn help. They kind of go back and forth, and Ali tries to attack him, and it turns into a big brawl featuring the security, and they're doing wrestling moves on the security, which I never understand that, because security, we know they're indie wrestlers, but they're just if you're watching a show, they're just supposed to be security. But then you pick them up and start doing tag team finishers on them. You would not do that in a real fight. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, this is setting up their match for Slammiversary, and it is pretty safe to say this is going to be an amazing match that is going to steal the show and be the best match on the entire card. There is nothing on this show that has the ability to stand out the way that this match does. This is definitely going to kill it. This is the one people are going to talk about. And it's going to be one of those matches that, if they rematch and they keep wrestling throughout the rest of the year, I don't think anyone's really going to complain about it. Ali might do a couple flips here and there, but for the most part, it should be a very good wrestling match. And I bring up the flips because you guys know I'm just not really into all the fake stuff, but Ali does maybe a little bit of it, but for the most part, lots of really good psychology, good wrestling. So it is going to be a fun match. And, again, if they wrestle for the rest of the year, I don't think anyone would really trip too much about it. Feel me? After this, I thought was a very, very good match. It was a chain match.
Lazy booking.
And we had the challenger, Killer Kelly.
I'm pregnant.
Fuck off.
What?
What?
I'm pregnant?
And the Knockouts World Champion, the Director of Waste Management, Masha Slamovich.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
I think this is her fourth quote-unquote garbage match as Knockouts champion. And she has challenged her opponent to the garbage match every single time, which is really weird to me. Like, if you're the champion, you're not like, hey, I challenge you to a freaking steel cage match. Like, as the champion, you don't want a disadvantage, but all her garbage matches were her challenging the opponent. That is why she is the Director of Waste Management. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they've had a chain match before, right? This is not their first time. I'm pretty sure that's what led to MK Ultra to begin with. So I really did enjoy this. Even though there's a chain involved, a little bit of garbage, whatever, it's different. It's not the street fight where you're just going to the well way too many times. It's not like they do chain matches, strap matches on a regular basis. So, again, I'm pretty sure they've done it before, so they know what they were doing. Masha obviously puts on very good matches at all times, and Killer Kelly is pretty good in her own right. And I just thought this whole thing was good. We knew who was going to win. I mean, there was no doubt at any point that Killer Kelly was going to lose here. We didn't think she was going to become the Knockouts champion. But even though she lost here, and I was at first kind of predicting she was going to be gone, I hope she's not. Like, I hope they find something for her to do. She is, like, universally liked from the TNA fans across the board. People like Kelly quite a bit. So I hope they find something for her to do, because she hasn't had anything compelling that didn't involve Masha Slamovich, for the majority of the time that she's been in the company. I want to say there was someone else she was like choking out. I don't remember who. I don't think they're here anymore. Might have been like Tennille Dashwood or something like that. But they haven't really found anything for her to do that didn't feature Masha. So hopefully they're up to the challenge with all these knockouts and they find something for her to do. A great win for Masha Slamovich. She is attacked by JC Jane and the Mean Girls after this. I'm like, guys, fucking seriously. So they're promoting Masha Slamovich versus JC Jane or Jordan Grace. You really think they would be bringing in JC Jane every single week on this show for her to lose and for Masha to wrestle Jordan Grace? I mean, seriously. Jordan Grace is on her way up to the main roster. Jordan Grace is not losing to Masha Slamovich again. She's not doing it on a WWE. Well, I guess not a WWE platform. It is a TNA platform, but she's not losing to her again. I promise you. So that doesn't benefit her. The TNA World title ended up getting put on an NXT wrestler. I'm pretty sure they're just going to do the same thing, put the NXT Women's Championship on Masha. It goes with what they're trying to do with Masha. They are trying to push her as the face of the division. I don't think she's a good face of a division. I'm not going to lie. I think she should be one of your top people, but I would not build a division around her personally. I'm not saying they have that person yet. I've brought up that name Nikki Blackheart before. Like, I would just do whatever it takes to bring that girl in and make her the face of your division. She's really the closest thing to Jordan Grace out there. Masha's very, very good, but I think she does have some things holding her back. I just wouldn't do that, but they want her to be Jordan Grace. They're trying to recreate Jordan Grace, and they're trying to do it with her. And I'm pretty sure she's going to win that NXT championship. But, I mean, come on. JC Jane is a very beatable champion. She's the only one on the show. Why is anyone like, I see the wrestling marks on Facebook just, oh, Jordan, obviously Jordan's gonna win. Like, Jordan's, she's not on TNA cutting promos and attacking Masha. She's not even saving Masha. She's gonna wrestle. Masha's gonna wrestle JC Jane. I don't know what to tell you guys. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll get on here and be like, yo, I was wrong. I always try to say when I'm wrong. I don't think I am, though. Backstage, Eric White. Eric, why did I call him that? Eric Young?
Who the heck are you?
What are you talking about? I'm Santa Claus.
No, you're not.
Why, of course I am.
He's walking around backstage, runs into the hometown man.
Everyone in this room is now dumber.
And they're going with the, I know that's Cody Deaner under the mask. I did think it was funny that Eric Young put on a mask. He's like, look, I'm not Eric Young anymore. Or whatever he said. But it's silly. It's ridiculous. When they said Cody Deaner was getting fired, people were like, oh, yeah, of course, because he brings nothing to the show. And then he's still there. Because I think he's an agent or something like that, or producer, or I think he's or part of creative or something. I think he has a backstage role. So I totally get it. But this character here is just the latest Cody Deaner bomb, in my opinion. But it does seem that some people enjoy it. But as I said, you have killed, as if you didn't do it to yourself already, you have killed going forward the mystery opponent, mystery tag team partner. You have killed it, because every time we see that silhouette, it's going to be Cody Deaner, or people are just going to be expecting it to be Cody Deaner. So I think you kind of really killed that, TNA. So I guess they're going to feud, whatever. I didn't write it down in my notes, but Eric Young did do a backstage kind of, I don't even know what you want to call it, but he was talking to the Northern Armory, who, again, to me, just look like two guys working at Lowe's. They're in the lumber department. Hey, can you get, they come around on the, can you get the lumber from the top shelf? And they come out on the little forklift thing and get it down for you. And then you maybe tip them $1 or $2. I don't know. But there's such a difference, man, between the Northern Armory and the Order 4. So you got like two jobber tag teams, but one is establishing themselves and having personality and involved in something engaging, and then you just kind of have these guys here that are just they just kind of know better off than they were before joining the group. I thought Josh Alexander was a much better leader for them, that he wanted to go chase money and take L's at AEW, which is perfectly fine. He can do whatever he wants with his career, but they were better off with him, but we'll see. Eric Young is challenging them to step up. So we'll see if they do step up. After this, we had a match that featured King of the White People.
Ooh, I'm white.
Eddie Edwards, and his opponent was Matt Cardona.
It's like you don't care about this company at all.
No fucking shit, I don't care about this company. Why, this is just an ATM to me.
And he is the TNA cockroach. They had a pretty good match. I mean, I've said it so many times. I like some guys with some size. And, these are two, Eddie is eating the cheeseburgers, man. Like, he really needs to cut back. Like, he just I did not think he looked good. Especially next to Matt Cardona, who works very hard at his physique. But I'm still a fan. And, I can watch a match like this and enjoy it. Because, again, a couple guys with some size, 6 foot something, whatever. And, I thought they had a good match. Eddie Edwards loses, as he always does, because he has taken more losses than anyone in TNA in like the last 2 years. He was pinned by the hometown man not too long ago. He was pinned by Matt Cardona here. He's usually rolled up, the deadly roll-up pin. Matt Cardona gets the win. What happened was Alicia took her ring off, which her fingers have to be the size of fucking Twizzlers. But she took her ring off, and Eddie was trying to put the ring on his fingers, on his fat fingers, and was going to hit Matt Cardona, but Brian Myers came running down. He's also starting to look like he's been eating cheeseburgers. And prevented him from hitting him, which led to the roll up. So after this, Matt Cardona is in the ring, and the lights go out. Tom Hannafin hits us with a "what the hell?" And out comes
Who?
Dark State, I think their name was.
Who?
And they're from NXT. We'll call him Job State. Freaking Hannafin, the phoniest fucking man in wrestling, starts listing off these guys' names. He's interchangeable, indie-looking guys that you would not recognize on the street come out, and Hannafin just rattles off all 4 of their names. I can tell you, I don't care if this team shows up on every episode for the rest of the year. I promise you, I will not be able to tell them apart. I think there's a black dude in there, but I mean, aside from that, the white dudes, I won't be able to tell them apart. I won't be able to tell you whose name is who. I won't even be able to remember any of these names. And he's just off the top of his head. It's Turner. Fucking come on. I mean, isn't it okay to just sometimes be like, who are these guys? Because what it is, if the announcer plays dumb and says, who is this? The marks destroy them online. Don't you have Google? Like, if you got to Google someone, they're not a star. I'm sorry. But don't you have Google? That's so-and-so. So I understand it's kind of a double-edged sword. You don't want to act dumb as a commentator. But then when you act like, when you're trying to appease the IWC, then you just sound like a freaking mark, and you sound ridiculous, and you sound fake. So, I mean, maybe you lose either way. I don't know. But I'm okay with, hey, man, who are these guys? Oh, I think they're from NXT. Something like that. I mean, come on, Hannafin. Seriously. But these guys come out. They jump Matt Cardona. Is Matt Cardona going to team with the system against these dudes? Because that would make it 4-on-4, right? If Dango, King of the White People, Eddie Edwards, and Brian Myers, that's 4, yeah, at Cardona. So we'll see, because the system is obviously, they're about dead. They're the shelf life, we're there. Okay, we're there with the system. If they break them up, I'm okay with it. I just don't want them to get away from the heel Alicia Edwards role. That's the only thing I care about. But they're close to the end here, folks. So I'm okay if they freshen things up and team them with babyface Matt Cardona in this little feud here. I'm okay with it. So I'm pretty sure it's what they're doing. And we will see if that is what happens. Then we get the TNA injury report.
You have 24 hours to live.
24 hours?
Well, 22. I'm sorry I kept you waiting so long.
Man, and I don't even remember what names they listed off here. It seems like, put it in my phone. It seems like they're going to do this every week, and they said, we're going to find 3 names, whether they are hurt or not. That is just the standard. It is the quota. They did say Trey Miguel was not clear to wrestle. So that actually tied into the show. So I'm all for that. They said Zaya Brookside, queen of the rubber match. They said she was not medically cleared to wrestle, but she did run out earlier in the match. So I didn't talk about that for the Killer Kelly match, because when Masha Slamovich got attacked after the match, they did bring out Zaya Brookside, the Zaya sisters, Zaya Brookside and Laying Lee, aka Zaya Lee. So they came out. We can give them the sound bites. Queen of the rubber match. Zaya Brookside, and of course
from Chingchong, China,
Laying Lee. So let's not forget those. But yeah, Zaya Brookside not cleared to compete, but she came out looking for a fight. And then AJ Francis, he's in rough condition following his garbage match last week. But he is good to go. He will not miss any time. The quota is 3 names, and they're gonna fucking make it up if they have to. That is what we are doing. All right, so after this, they had a nice little Leon Slater.
Hey here, I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
Video package. It was a little long for me. I would have cut like 3 minutes off that thing, but it was well done. It was giving us a look inside the life of Leon Slater. He's going to become X Division champion here pretty soon. We know that. They've been telling that story all year. So this was a nice little touch. Then we have, I think I got something out of order here. Hold on. We have Steve Maclin coming down because he is going to be on commentary.
Do the ass kicking around here.
Wait your turn, jarhead. Ah!
And the match is between Mance Warner,
Outlaw Mud Show garbage wrestler,
who of course was accompanied by SDL. We should start calling her DSLs.
Everybody's been real nice.
Well, that's because you have big jugs.
And his opponent was Naked Jake.
Do you mind if I slip into something more comfortable?
I turned up the volume for his ring entrance. I said, let's see if they give him the stupid entrance that they always do, or if they tell us where he's from and what he weighs, and they did it finally. Hailing from wherever, Michigan, weighing in at 200. What I think they said 35. I called bullshit on that. He weighs more than that. But they did it. They gave him a real ring entrance to make him somewhat not come off like a freaking, standard paint by number, create a wrestler guy. So good on you, TNA. Finally. What was the podcast I did before this? I think it was a Negative BQ show. Where, because I was talking about TNA's booking, and I was like, I don't feel a difference. They've been moving names around. I think Delirious is in charge. It doesn't feel any different. And I said on the show, I was like, I haven't watched the episode yet. But this is what's going to happen. They're going to put Steve Maclin on commentary. He is either going to cost Jake something to match, or he's going to get involved, and they're going to throw it out, and it's going to be a no contest. You can just see what they do from a mile away, because part of it was okay. They got to have this international title match, but Maclin hasn't been on the show. He did one thing with Jake something backstage, and of course this turns into a brawl. They both bump into Maclin out there because that happens all the time. Hannafin and Ray Wall get knocked over by the guys in the ring all the time, right? So Macklin's out there. First, Mance Warner runs into him. Jake something runs into him, and then it becomes a big brawl, and it's a three-way, and it's going to be a triple threat of Slammiversary, and everyone can just see the shit coming, and Maclin is going to defend his title against a guy he already beat and a guy who's done nothing to earn a title shot. So you've got this great mid-card title now, TNA. Like, don't just play it safe, and we're just going to do standard wrestling one-on-one booking for Maclin to defend the title. Like, come on, man. You guys are better than that as far as a story. I just knew if I just sat and thought about it, they're going to put him on commentary, and they do this all the time. Wrestling does this all the time. Like, come up with something different for us, please. After that, we had wasn't really a main event, so I'm not going to give you the Hannafin soundbite. But we had, since Trey Miguel was unable to compete, we had Zachary Wentz.
In one word, would I use dope? Nope.
And he is there with Leon Slayer. Myron Reed, break glass in case of emergency, was probably there with Killer Kelly. These guys were off TV for so long, like the maternity and paternity leave these people had. Anyway, I do not expect Myron Reed to be part of this act going forward. It was just Trey Miguel obviously wasn't there. This dude was. He said, hey, we got a TNA shirt for you to put on. Like, can you go out there so Zach Wentz doesn't go out there by himself? And that's really all I think it is. I would love for them to bring him on full time. Might as well, but we'll see. If Kelly is there and she's not going anywhere, like, why not, dude? Why fucking not? His opponent was Nick Nemeth.
I've been talking to people walking here. We've been talking about next year, and I'm sitting there saying, I'm not going to be here.
And, excuse me, I got to cough real quick while I'm playing the soundbite for his brother, Ryan Nemeth.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who was in his corner. The match was pretty good. Zach Wentz beat Ryan Nemeth last week, and what they were trying to do was wrestling booking. One guy wins from the team one week, the other guy from the other team wins the next week. I mean, that's all this was all it was. Wentz got the win last week. Trey Miguel was obviously going to lose to Nick Nemeth this week, as Zachary Wentz did. Of course, they had to cheat to win because no heel can just win on the show. Even the former TNA World Champion cannot just beat this cruiserweight-ass dude, Zachary Wentz. They had to do a spot where Ryan Nemeth tripped them, and then he ran into a super kick. It's okay. I promise you it's okay if a heel just wins clean every once in a while. I understand it's pro wrestling, and they're supposed to cheat, and the guys on the outside are supposed to get involved. Like, I get it. I really, truly do. But sometimes, just sometimes, get crazy, get wild, and just have the heel win the match. And then at the very end of this, we had a trying to find my sound bites now. Man, StreamYard made an update here, which is a nightmare. And I emailed them. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you messing this up? It is so hard for me to find my sound bites now. Like, I am so pissed. So we'll see. They will change nothing, of course. It'll be like TNA's production quality for like 5 years. Change nothing. StreamYard will probably change nothing as well. It is a talk show. There's no set. There's no nothing. It is King of the Block Party, Frankie Kazarian.
It's a block party. I'm not playing with y'all, bro.
With the debut of the King's Speech, which I wouldn't be shocked if we never saw this again, but who knows? They always find interesting ways to keep Frankie Kazarian like lurking in the main event scene. And this is what I think happened, folks. I think he did get a Scott to contract. I think he's a Scott D'Amore signing, but he's someone they have interest in keeping. It's not like Rhino and shit like that. They want to keep him around. He's probably paid very well. Scott probably promised him a world title run. Okay? That's why he won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. That's why he's been lurking in the main event picture, feuding with nobody. He has not feuded, I think, with a single person since he has turned heel. He kind of had a little whatever with Leon Slater. The last actual feud I remember him having was with Eddie Edwards, that he was a babyface. And Eddie was a heel. But I'm pretty sure as a heel, this dude has not feuded with anybody. He just lurks. I talk about Matt Cardona. Shout out to Cardona, the cockroach. He's like a cockroach just hanging out in the main event scene because I think TNA's trying to find him. They're trying to appease him, number one. They're like, hey, we're not going to keep Scott's promise, but we'll keep you lurking in the main event scene. Then, I mean, it has to be what it is because they had him on commentary a week or two ago. He has nothing to do with anything, but they still kind of keep him there, which is not a bad thing. I'm not complaining about that at all. It's actually kind of interesting, but they have him lurking in the main event scene, and it is a talk show, interview segment, whatever you want to call it. With Joe Hendry or Mike Santana, he's just trying to like Joe Hendry, Mike Santana, but he's also saying, please welcome. He's mad because people are excited for them and cheering, but he's the dumb motherfucker saying, please welcome Mike Santana. Well, you just said, please welcome. You want them to welcome him, you fucking dumbass. Anyway, his guests were Brother Love Handles, who is Joe Hendry, who I thought looked like a fan next to these guys in this segment. Mike Santana.
That's nasty.
And then the TNA World Champion, Trick Williams.
How about a magic trick?
Who, again, I promise I'm not going to say this every time, but the crowd yelling whoop that Trick when he comes out, when his name is Trick, is one of the dumbest things I have ever heard in my life. It doesn't make any sense. I don't care if it means they like him, if they're directed at his opponent. It makes no sense whatsoever. And Joe Hendry, who did not sound good in this promo segment, it's just low-hanging fruit. Like, they're not saying whoop that Trick because they like you. It's because they want to see you get your ass whooped. Like, shut up. This was fine. It was whatever. It was a freaking interview segment, whatever, that led to a brawl. We've just seen it 1,000 times, and that's what they did here. I would say ever since I came back to podcasting, all the episodes have gone off the air like in a very Wrestling 101 way. And just, it's like you can almost shut off the show during the main event if you wanted to, because number one, is going to win in the main event, and then number two, they're going to do something after that's just out of the TNA playbook, and we've seen it 1,000 times. that's going to do it for me this week, folks. I am your boy, BQ. I got to get my boy to summer school. It's his last week of it. And I got to get to work. So I will talk to you soon. I'm out. Peace.